Salutations, tubers, and welcome to the layout room once again. This time around I shall be doing a bit of an update slash a layout tour. I've been busy these past few weeks doing modifications and working on the layout. Just got done yesterday, so I thought as a little bit of a hoorah, I'd give a little bit of a tour of the layout and maybe a little bit of its history and all sorts of fun little things like that. So I guess without further ado, we should be getting started. To kick things off, the name of this layout is the Mule Valley Railroad Southern Division. A little bit of a play on words there, because the Garden Railroad I have outside for all the live steam trains, which I shall be detailing in a future video, I call that the Northern Division. So the general gist is that I'm modeling one railroad but in two different scales. Kind of handy for when things get nasty outside to come in here and work on the Southern Division, and when it's nice outside, I go outside and work on the Northern Division. Anyway, the Mule Valley Railroad Southern Division is a traditional O27 tubular track O-gauge layout, inspired by many of the big layouts of the past, in particular John Potter's pre-war train layout from the TM Books and Video series. I had a VHS of that when I was a kid, and ever since I watched that, I thought I gotta have a layout like that. And it's also a bit of a tribute to my grandpa. He had Lionel trains, so I kind of wanted to do something which would have been familiar to people back then as kind of a little tip of the hat. This particular section of the layout is the main part. I do most of my filming here and most of my running, though the layout is indeed bigger. We shall be covering the other part of the layout here in a second. This section is a 4x8 section laid on ordinary plywood with traditional wood benchwork. The ground cover is just basically a tan paint with green on top, and basically how I applied this grass texture was I took the green paint and I dabbed it with a sponge and just dabbed it all over. The little technique I picked up from watching the Classic Toy Trains magazine YouTube channel. So if you want to learn how to do that, I would suggest popping over there, giving it a little watch. The particular track plan is from a website called Thor's Trains, all-scale website, I believe the name is. I shall be putting a link in the description. It has track plans and interesting little projects and tidbits for many, many different scales. It's not just O-gauge. They've got HO, they've got N. The particular emphasis there is to build a layout which can fit in a small room, which, as you might be able to tell, we're in a pretty small room. I think I maybe have 10, 12 foot square to work with here. Actually, this is an old closet. Behind the blue curtain is the rest of the closet, full storage space. So this is what I managed to negotiate out. So yeah, definitely if you're interested in doing something like this, I'd recommend checking out that website. As you can see, very busy layout. We've got a lot of accessories, because I happen to like action accessories. We've got the pumping oil derrick, we've got a electromagnetic crane, we've got the operating water tower with the real water in it. That's one of my favorites. We've got an icing station, and we've got a sawmill. And got a few boards out because I've been playing with it, getting it tuned up, so we've definitely sawed some lumber already. Most of the accessories on this layout are either period pieces or reproductions of period pieces by Lionel, MTH, American Flyer, wherever I can find them handy. My general view on accessories is I'm willing to accept a reproduction of an original item if it can be had for less. In general, my view is I want the accessories to work, and a lot of the older accessories need a lot of maintenance, and generally they tend to go a lot more in price, because they're seen as collectibles. So my general view is I'm willing to accept reissues and replicas. Like this is a reissue, this is a reissue, this is a reissue, and these two are MPC era, but they're basically based on post-war accessories. So here's the control desk / workbench. This particular layout is conventionally controlled. The most modern thing I have on this layout in terms of control is Lion Chief. I have a couple Lion Chief engines, but never really saw the need to upgrade to digital, particularly for a layout like this. And most of the time I'm only running one locomotive anyway, so it doesn't make sense really to try and digitize the layout too much. So right here we have the beating heart. We have a Lionel ZW. This controls the entire layout. It provides track power on this handle. Right hand side accessory bus on this handle. We've got the oil derrick on this one. And we've got the accessories for the left side of the layout on this handle. And with how many watts this baby's cranking out, we've got enough power to run this entire layout and maybe a little more. Perfectly sufficient for my needs. And for our modern locomotives, we've got the whistle and bell triggers, so that way we can do whistle and bell on the more modern engines. And this, moving on, this right here was my original O-gauge layout. Started off in life as a door, hollow core door bought at Lowe's for a very low amount of money. Painted it green, the traditional style, and laid this down upon it. In the beginning, it was just a loop, and after discovering Thor's Trains website, I put in the figure 8 and the other loop here, and then we built the little connecting piece, which runs past the transformer over to the 4x8. This used to be my exhibition layout. This used to travel to train shows with me for a little while, but between rough conditions out on the road, playing havoc with the accessories and the wiring, and the fact that wherever I went, the live steam engines always seemed to steal the show, I decided to retire this layout from touring and decided to make it part of the permanent layout. As you can see, we've got some more accessories. We've got a reproduction American Flyer coal elevator by MTH. We have an original American Flyer water tower, non-functional. It's pretty well worn out, but I keep it as a decoration. We have an MPC mail pickup set. We have a pre-war Lionel rotary beacon. We have, this is one of the newest additions to the layout. This is an American Flyer log loader, reproduction by MTH. And we've got an MTH operating semaphore. Again, I'm not too bent out of shape by having reproduction accessories. My general view is they gotta work. Otherwise they get taken off the layout. This is basically supposed to represent a little farm scene. Kind of a tip of the hat to growing up in the country. This particular farmhouse is actually a Lincoln log set. And we've got our little Ertl Allis-Chalmers tractor. We've got the milk platform. And as to why there's an alien standing there, well, every model train layout I've ever seen generally has a little bit of humor on it. And given that's kind of a side interest sort of thing for me, don't judge, I thought, why not have some visitors from another world pop by to stop by the farmhouse, have a few brewskis, and stop by to use the Johnny on the spot. So these are the little containers they came in. I'm thinking of dressing these up to make them look more like spaceships. So the general idea is these little guys have come down and to take a potty break and grab a few brewskis before heading back out. And we've got the always popular Lionel Gateman. Just got finished reworking this. We've got the Lionel clock that's still being worked on. Don't know if that's going to be a permanent part of the layout. I'm thinking of putting a signal cabin there. But whenever I get some more free time, I might see if I can get this going again. As I kind of like old toys, I've also got Lego. This is a Lego lighthouse, and we've got a little Lego building over here. Lego's technically a little bit after Lionel Trains, but I figured it could be, this could be kind of a tribute to old toys, so why not? We've got our LED American Flyer light up sign, our neon sign. We've got our tin plate Hornby signal. And we've got our train collection up on the shelves. This is where most of the locomotives tend to live. And we've got our rack for our magazines and all the other reading material. And down here, we've got our storage space. Getting a little full, but yeah. So all in all, I think it's a fun little layout. It's a fun little place to come to when I need a break from the world. All in all, very fun. So as to modifications, latest one is I've installed a uncoupling ramp over there. It was kind of getting a little difficult to try and uncouple trains on that side of the layout. So I went and put in an uncoupling ramp. Got a few more scattered here and there. The general gist of this layout is you can run it either way. You can either do switching, taking stuff between industries. This track right here is supposed to be the connection to the outside world, so this is where cars come on and off the layout from. But you can also do things the old-fashioned way, just run things around in circles. So, yeah, that's the MVRR Southern Division. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to put them in the box below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and guess I'll see you next time.